FCC approves Paramount-Skydance Deal. The $8 billion merger between Paramount Global and Skydance Media has been approved by the FCC, clearing the final regulatory hurdle. The deal, announced over a year ago, is expected to close in the coming weeks. The 2-to-1 vote saw Commissioner Ana Gomez dissenting, citing concerns over Paramount's settlement of a lawsuit brought by President Trump and other concessions made. Gomez criticized Paramount's actions, suggesting the American public will ultimately bear the cost. The approval comes after Skydance pledged to address concerns regarding diversity and inclusion programs, and to appoint an ombudsman to review complaints of bias within CBS. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, appointed by President Trump, expressed his satisfaction with these commitments, highlighting a need for change in the national news media. Paramount's $16 million settlement with President Trump to resolve his lawsuit against CBS over a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris has also played a role. While both sides claimed the settlement and FCC approval were separate, allegations of a quid pro quo persist. Chairman Carr previously stated his belief that the news distortion complaint would influence the FCC's decision. The merger will see Larry Ellison, David Ellison, and Jerry Cardinale's Redbird Capital acquiring Sherry Redstone's stake in Paramount Global. David Ellison will lead the newly formed Paramount Skydance Corp., while Sherry Redstone will receive $1.75 billion and leave the board. The deal follows months of uncertainty and cost-cutting measures at Paramount, including layoffs and revised severance packages for its co-CEOs.
In our next story, Trump yanks Habba's nomination for U.S. Attorney, enabling her to serve in acting capacity. President Trump withdrew Alina Habba's nomination as New Jersey's U.S. Attorney, paving the way for her to serve in an acting capacity. This follows a federal court's decision to appoint Habba's deputy, Desiree Lee Grace, as U.S. Attorney after Habba's 120-day interim term expired. Attorney General Pam Bondi subsequently removed Grace, sparking a legal battle over who legitimately holds the position. The conflict stems from a clash between federal law granting courts the power to appoint U.S. attorneys after 120 days and another law restricting who can serve as an acting officer if a presidential nomination is pending. Habba's nomination, opposed by New Jersey's senators, triggered the Vacancies Act which, according to some legal experts, contains loopholes that could allow Habba to serve as acting U.S. attorney. The Justice Department, supporting Habba, accused the New Jersey judges of political maneuvering. They contend that the president retains the authority to control the appointment of U.S. attorneys, even challenging the court's ability to remove a court-appointed official. Legal experts are divided, citing conflicting interpretations of existing federal law and the rarity of such disputes. President Trump's withdrawal of Habba's nomination resolves the immediate legal conflict. Habba can now assume the acting role without violating the Vacancies Act. The situation highlights the complex interplay of executive and judicial authority in appointing federal prosecutors and raises questions about the ultimate resolution of the ongoing legal dispute surrounding Grace's status and the president's power to remove a court-appointed official.
In our next story, Astronomer's HR head resigns following Coldplay kiss cam scandal. Andy Byron, CEO of Astronomer, and Kristin Cabot, the company's head of HR, both resigned following a viral video. The video, captured during a Coldplay concert, showed the pair embracing on the stadium's kiss cam. Coldplay's Chris Martin even commented on their apparent shyness or possible affair, inadvertently fueling the online firestorm. The incident quickly spread across the internet, prompting a formal investigation by Astronomer's board. Cabot resigned last Thursday, a week after the video surfaced. Byron's resignation followed shortly thereafter. The incident sparked a wider conversation about privacy in the digital age, highlighting the rapid spread of information and the potential consequences of unexpected public exposure. Neither Byron nor Cabot have publicly addressed the situation since the video went viral.
In our next story, Trump visits the Federal Reserve, tussles with Jerome Powell, NPR. President Trump's visit to the Federal Reserve on Thursday took an unexpected turn when he and Fed Chair Jerome Powell publicly disagreed over the cost of the central bank's renovation project. Trump claimed the cost had ballooned to $3.1 billion, while Powell countered that the figure cited included expenses for a separate building completed 5 years prior. This disagreement highlighted the ongoing tension between the president and the Fed chair, particularly regarding interest rate cuts. The visit itself was unusual, marking the first presidential visit to the Federal Reserve since 2006. This underscores the traditionally independent nature of the Fed and the potential implications of perceived presidential interference in its operations. Trump's recent attacks on Powell, including calling him a numbskull and threatening to fire him, have further intensified this pressure. Despite the public disagreement, Trump later attempted to downplay the tension, claiming a good meeting with Powell. However, he reiterated his calls for lower interest rates, expressing hope that Powell would eventually comply, albeit potentially a little too late. The Fed has maintained its current interest rates, largely due to concerns about inflation spurred by Trump's tariffs. The escalating conflict between Trump and Powell, alongside the disputes over renovation costs, raises significant concerns about the potential impact on the Fed's independence and the stability of financial markets. The president's actions are viewed by some as an attempt to exert undue influence on monetary policy.
In our next story, HR Chief Kristin Cabot resigns from Astronomer on heels of Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal. Astronomer's chief people officer, Kristin Cabot, has resigned following a public scandal involving her and the company's now former CEO, Andy Byron. The affair was revealed after the pair were caught on a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, prompting a formal company investigation and placing both on leave. The incident quickly went viral, exposing both Cabot and Byron's marriages. Cabot is married to Andrew Cabot, CEO of Privateer Rum, while Byron is married to Megan Kerrigan Byron. Following the revelation, Megan reportedly removed Byron's surname from her Facebook profile and deactivated her account. Less than 24 hours after the initial leave of absence, Andy Byron also resigned from his position as CEO. Astronomer released a statement reaffirming their commitment to their company values and emphasizing that their leaders are expected to uphold high standards of conduct and accountability. The company stated they will begin the search for a new CEO, with co-founder and chief product officer Pete DeJoy serving as interim CEO. Astronomer emphasized that despite the recent events, their work and commitment to their customers remain unchanged.